kept convincing myself that I was improving, but I hadn't moved in months. We can get stuck in intentions. People can get stuck in intending to do something, but never taking actual action. There's a big difference, a world of difference between the two. In order to have the goals that we want, in order to actually achieve things, we need to take action. We need to do the necessary steps required. Having the intention is great because you need the intention in order to take the action. But people can get stuck in this dopamine cycle of setting the intention, writing the goals down, doing the research, and they stay there. They stay in this cycle of intention, goal, research, intention, goal, research, and it's not necessarily a orderly thing. It could be in any order. And you get dopamine from that because you feel like you're making progress. But in order to get anything, you need to be able to get through that phase and move on from that. You need to be able to start taking action. So if somebody says, I'm not who I want to be today, that's fine. It's okay to not be where you want to be. It's okay to not have what you want to have. You don't have to shame yourself for that. That will just erode your relationship with yourself. And yes, you do have a relationship with yourself. You don't want to corrode that in any way. Shame and guilt are just, they're just usually really, really, really last resort low-level tools, if used at all. But a lot of times they're the ego's first choice, and we need to learn to let go of that. It's okay to not have and not be where you want to be. And often that's a moving target. Where you want to be is always going to keep moving forward as you move forward. So sometimes because that delta, that distance between where you are and where you want to be is so large, and it keeps moving with you, it doesn't feel like you're making progress. When in actuality, you are. So we want to remember that too. Take a moment every now and then and realize how much progress you've made, how much you've done. You need to call yourself out on that bullshit too. But you also need to pair that with applauding yourself for moving forward, for doing the right actions. Now, if you're in the present moment of, I'm not who I want to be, but that's because you're not doing any of the actions of the man that you want to be. If you're not doing any of the actions of becoming the person that would get those goals. So if you have these goals, those are great. Those are what I would call the tangibles, even if they're technically intangible, but they're items of achievement. They're achievements, right? What's in the way of that? The only thing in the way between you and your goals is the bridge of action. Action is the cure-all. Action is what gets you from point A to point B. Without that, you're stuck. So if you're not taking the actions of the man that would have those goals, think of the person that would have those goals, of the person that would actually be achieving those goals? Are you the kind of person that would have those goals based on your actions most recently? And that might be what you're asking. That might be what you're saying, that I'm not that person right now. And that gives you exact direction. Because it says, okay, well, here are the actions, and you can write them down too. Here are the actions that the person, that version of me would take. Here are the habits. Here's when I would wake up. Here is what kind of food I would eat. Here's when what exercises I would do. Then you have the goals. No, then you have the actions. Sorry. The only thing to do now is to take them. It's to do those actions. Which is easier said than done. I understand that. My recommendation to you is to not try to pile all of them on. It's to not try to do all of them at once. But slowly take bit by bit little pieces of those goals. And to start small. Start at a lighter weight than actual what the person that you want to be would do. Because if you try to do it way too much up front, you're going to burn yourself out. You're not going to be able to do that much weight at first, even though motivationally in your mind, when that spark is there to actually take action, you're going to be like, yes, I'm going to do it all. I'm going to achieve all of these things, and I'm going to take everything on at once. But that's using up all your fuel on the start line. You want to be smart about it. And you want to dose your fuel out all through the marathon. Your body will use that fuel much better if you sparingly use it all throughout rather than all at once. It's not going to sustain. So take it bit by bit and move from there. When someone says they're not who they want to be, that means that they're not taking actions of the person they want to be. They're not doing the right things. Either they're literally just not doing something, or they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing. And both will degrade your own self-confidence, and both will degrade your own identity because it's misaligned with who you are or who you could be, who you know you are inside, because we all have that inner voice. And people can have an intention to change, and they can feel that within. But if they don't have the actual actions to back it up, they're not going to change. It's important to have the actions to back it up. Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels, being stuck in place. You think, and oftentimes people can get stuck in that too, where we are thinking we are making progress because we're thinking about it. We're thinking of our goals, we're writing it down, we're getting clear about it, but then if we don't actually take action, we get the feel good of all the thinking about it and telling people, but then we never actually take action. We need to take action in order to get the goals done. That's a necessary component of it. It's almost like getting the reward without doing the actual work. You need to do the work. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, you can watch the full version right here.